Good afternoon and welcome everyone to our Ensemble version 7 sneak peek. Thank you guys so much for joining us. This is Sarah Steele. I've got everyone loaded in, coming in on mute because we are expecting quite a few participants in this particular meeting. So thank you guys so much in advance for joining us. We're going to give everyone just a couple minutes to kick in as we do. For those of you that have joined us for off-road meetings before, we're going to follow a very similar format to what we've done. So a couple quick housekeeping notes. We are recording today's meeting, both audio and visual. So we will have this recording available for you afterwards to share with your other team members if you so decide that that is what you would like to do. We've got several Pathfinders on our end that are going to be joining us, either hosting or co-hosting or answering your questions. As we've done before, we're going to ask you guys to utilize the Zoom group chat feature to ask your questions. This will kind of help us to keep the background noise down just a little bit. So if you've got your Zoom window open, you should be seeing my screen. Says welcome and thanks for joining us. And I'm going to go ahead and pop a quick hello out there in the group chat. If you would take just a quick moment and go ahead and type a hello or a how are you or a happy Tuesday out there for us so that we know that your chat is working. Thank you guys so very much. It's so good to see you. I'm hearing that some folks can't see my screen. Thank you for telling me. How about now? Awesome. Okay, thank you guys. See, this is how you guys keep me honest. Can you see me now? Good. Awesome. Bonjour to you too as well, Andrew. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Awesome. Well, happy Tuesday, everyone. I hope everyone's enjoying their spring. I know here in Indiana, we are getting a little bit of better weather, which is nice. So getting out there and getting our lawn work done and dealing with all of the lovely spring flings that are going on out there. So Pathfinders, for those of you guys that are in the house, you should be able to release yourselves on mute if you need to. If not, and you need to speak for something today, I can certainly take care of that for you. Take a quick peek here. I know we've got a couple of guest speakers that are going to be coming in. Dooby-dooby-doo. And it looks like we've got some folks that are up there in the executive conference room that are going to be joining us as well. So I've got a time slot of 3:03, so I think we're going to go ahead and get started. We've got a lot of great folks that are popping in here today. So once again, we've got everyone in here on mute. We're going to be taking your questions through the chat feature. I'm pretty sure that we're going to be having a lot of questions today. So first of all, again, this is Sarah Steele. Thanks, guys, for joining us and for taking the time out of your afternoon for our May Off-Road Ensemble version 7 sneak peek. I know there's a lot of folks that are excited to hear this. I'm hearing commentary about the doorbell. Yes, what you're hearing are folks joining the meeting. That the ding-dong noise is an audio for us to let us know that folks have popped in or popped out. Hopefully that will cut back here in just a moment. So for our kickoff, first off, I'm going to take just a moment and introduce Ann Deno. Ann, as many of you have met her before at Powwow or at some of our other Passageways functions, has been with Passageways for a very long time. She's our product manager for the ensemble side, and I know that she's eager to talk to you guys a little bit about what we have asked you to join us for today. So, Ann, I will turn it over to you to kind of give everybody a little bit of an agenda about what we're going to be talking about, and then I'll wait for you to hand it back to me.
Okay, great. Thank you, Sarah. And hello, everyone. And first of all, let me just say thanks to all of you for joining us today. I am super excited to kind of give you guys a sneak peek about what's coming with Ensemble 7. I know I have been deep in the weeds on this for quite some time, so some of the things that I'm looking at every day, I'm kind of used to seeing. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what you guys think and any kind of feedback that you have. So hopefully we'll be able to continue to share with you guys as we go and kind of design some new features. So just kind of real quick, there's a couple of different things that have changed in Ensemble. We do have a fabulous design team that we now have available to us who have been working on a lot of our screens. They're listening with us today as well. So huge thanks to Neo, Alyssa, and Chris. I'll give them kudos ahead of time so I don't forget at the end. And then the other thing, just to kind of make sure that you guys are aware of, is we're going through and doing new features in kind of a discovery phase where we're just doing designs, and then we get kind of into the delivery phase where you actually start seeing things come to life in product. Today you'll get to see a sneak peek at the live demo, so you'll get a feel for what we mean when we talk about those terms, but you'll hear that from us probably more frequently, discovery and delivery, as we work through developing features for Ensemble. So today we're going to touch on some navigation and workflows. This is just kind of a general look and feel improvement that we're doing across the board, just so the portal doesn't have that old look anymore. We also made some great changes in creating pages, and then we're adding some new functionality in our Workgroup Essentials, and then also new look and feel on some additional functionality here coming up in portal documents. So those are the main 4 areas that we're going to look at today. And I think I will let Sarah get started. She's going to start us out through navigation and workflows. So Sarah, I'll pass it back to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Anne. All right, so again, I know there's a lot of you on the call that are really excited to take a peek at what some of these new things are, and I asked Anne if I could talk about navigation and workflows, just because these are things that really speak to me as far as how we as content managers or portal administrators manage the content and the navigation of our portals every single day. And so some of these sneak peeks I know are very exciting to me. Cameron is going to be actively monitoring our chat. So we're looking for your feedback, positive and negative, as well as your questions and answers. So vertical navigation, I know many of you guys have started using the horizontal navigation as well. But this is kind of what we're used to seeing, right? So when we right-click inside here, we can see open in a new window, or we can see our page properties. It's got a little bit of a dated look to it, and there's not a lot of features that are in here. Under our new vertical navigation, we're going to have a few additional things that I think are going to really help out. First of all, we've got some iconography, helps modernize this look for us, right? So new look and feel is not just for our users, but for ourselves as well. So there's our open in a new tab, open in a new window. They're also spread out a little bit more, which I certainly like. I know that when I'm working on my smaller screen or my laptop at home, I certainly appreciate having a little bit of extra move room to be able to kind of go around in there. And then I like the go to that workgroup page. It seems like that's a really clear way of being able to articulate that. So I think that that looks pretty terrific. You'll also notice we've got some links and icons that are coming in over here on the side as well. We'll spend a little bit more time talking about those too. So when you hover over things, they'll kind of highlight a little bit better. So as you can see here, going from the old to the new, so open a new tab, if I were to hover over that, the way that that kind of pops up on me a little bit, which is kind of cool, or go to a workgroup page, we'd see how that looks. Copying page before, when we copy page, I know I especially like to work with my groups and tell them, you know, build a page that you really like and then copy it, manage the content, and republish as a new page. So we certainly do that a lot. This is what we used to see, and now it looks a lot better, right? So we're looking at, what do you want to copy? Do we want to copy the page islands, or just the islands and the properties, or just the page properties themselves? So we've got a lot of, a few more choices in there, and I think they're more clearly articulated as far as what you can and can't do. I have to admit that I've never really looked at just trying to do 1 or 2 things on here, and so knowing that I could take just the properties and the island properties, not the content. That's going to save me a whole heck of a lot of time, and I hope it's going to save you guys some time as well. So again, just looking a little bit cleaner, looking very nice there. Let's talk about page properties. For those of you that have ever taken the time to kind of right-click on a page, you can see this page property screen. This is where we tag our pages, or we select a background color or background image. Background colors and background images were all something new that we got with the release of 6.1, and we've been able to do some really nice things with those. They've improved that process for us a little bit as well. Check this out. So now when we right-click our content page, let's pause here for just a quick second. All right, so old page, I want to hear everybody go, ooh, you can put that in the chat. Ooh, how much cooler is this, guys, right? So now we've got our page name clearly right up there at the top. We've got our page tags able to come in. Color, boom, it's right there as a drop-down. Your opacity becomes a slider that only shows up if you've selected a color, which is nice. But check this out. You want to throw a background image on there? Drag and drop, or you can browse your local files, but if you know exactly where it is, boom, take it there. But then down here at the bottom, I don't know how clearly this is showing up on my Zoom screen, that says image opacity. Yeah, Erlinda, I just saw it, right? Like so exciting, right? So being able to adjust the opacity of our background colors is something that we've been able to do since the release of 6.1. Being able to change the opacity of our background images is certainly something that I'm looking very forward to, which is super great, right? So like loving that feature, I think that's really very cool. And you're gonna be able to see what the page URL is right from this spot, so we can copy and paste this, when it was last modified, who modified it, right? So now we've got that little like who moved my cheese feature, just putting that out there for you guys. And the ability to mark your page as private as opposed to having it as a public page. So boom, 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 all of these things right here on this page. Love this from a content manager standpoint, certainly got me very excited. So again, background details, drag your files here. I know I should have showed those things on the clickstream, Anne, I'm so sorry. Okay, so, before I move on to the next section, because the next section is also very exciting to me, any questions on page properties before we keep going? Good stuff? Color picker, yes, Tom, there will be one. I don't think I have one to show you. I will defer that back up to the front room when they get back on. So Cameron, if we can take a quick note on that.
Yeah, color picker is right there next to the color opacity, background details.
Right. Yep.
And that'll pop up. Mm-hmm.
I don't have an image of what the, he wants to know what the options are. So yes, I think they might have something to show for that today. If not, Tom, as soon as I can get you a screenshot, I'll make sure we get that out there for you. But we will be able to do a color picker as well as hex code and RGB, correct, Ann? That's not going away?
Yes, I can.
That should not go away, and we will not be able to show that today because we still have to look at some new tools that we're looking at. So it may be very similar to what we have, or it may be very different. But that functionality should still be there.
Julia's got her hex code memorized, my girl. Awesome. Okay, very neat. All right, so let's talk about pop-up alerts. Pop-up alerts are one of the things about my portal I know that I love and I hate. I have a wonderful love-hate relationship with the pop-ups that are in my portal or my message viewer when I do click on things. I appreciate my pop-ups because they tell me what's going on inside my portal, but there are other times when they make me slightly crazy because much like my 10-year-old son, they don't care if they're interrupting me. They don't care if they jump in my face. And I can't really push them aside because they're important. I need them to be there, much like my 10-year-old son. But I have no easy way to manage them, much like my 10-year-old son. Wow, I'm getting way too into this. And we have made some really cool things here. And again, guys, for those of you that I know I've worked with before, Rochelle and Cameron and Stephanie and Courtney, we appreciate your feedback on this because I know we've kind of been picking on you guys for how we could make this process better. So let's take a quick peek. First of all, let's manage your alerts a little bit more like we manage email, right? So being able to mark things as read, as in, yeah, okay, I know that one already. I can check the box for that and I can mark them as read. If something is actually important, not just having that little exclamation point on there, but having a gentle highlight, something that lets me know that this is something that I actually do have to pay attention to. So again, all of these things on here are important, but some of them may be more important than others. And I totally get that. So first and foremost, I love the idea that I can be like, okay, I need some of these things, but not all. So let's clear some of them off the desktop. This to me is huge. So for those of you that do utilize pop-ups in your portal, is this a feature that you think you'll be able to take advantage of? Being able to kind of manage your pop-ups by saying, okay, clear these ones. Absolutely. Awesome. So good feedback there. The second thing, and I don't know how, Ellen's like, we weren't before, but now we might. I like that plan, right? Here's something else that I really like. Before, you would see like the from, and then you would see the sent. Now we're seeing the from, we're seeing the sent, but we're also going to be able to see a little bit more information about the dates and the times. So it's not just like yesterday or today. Tom, importance comes from the sender. Importance comes from the sender. Excellent question. So we may want to, what someone else thinks is important, right? So those are obviously cool things to take a peek at. And then when you click on them, again, giving them a more modern view. So if you actually click on one, it does have a more, a cleaner look and feel to it. It doesn't have all those big bars around it. This must have been when I brought King Cake in. Neat. So new announcements been posted on the portal with those hyperlinks that are going to take you to the remainder of the announcement if that's what the sender has chosen to do, or have the ability to delete it right from that screen. So all good stuff around there. I've got P. Schroeder asking about will it be taking over the screen. I've got questions about colors on backgrounds. Guys, I'm going to hold on those closer towards the end for look and feel as far as mechanics and background, but Anne will kick those back towards you as well. Because I believe part of what's going to be exciting about this is having just a little bit more control about that look and feel to be able to get things a little bit more on brand for our users. So I'll let Anne handle those questions. But again, I'm looking forward to turning more of my pop-ups back on. I know that I had actually disconnected some of mine around here just because, again, they'd be constantly popping up and there was no way for me to eliminate some without eliminating all. And having that ability to be able to manage some of them and not and eliminate some without eliminating all of them, certainly going to make my life a lot easier, and I hope it does the same thing for you guys too. So with that then, I get to hand it over to my wonderful work partner, Rochelle, who's going to talk to you guys about some of the things that really spoke to her with what we know is coming in the version 7 release around creating pages. So I need to stop sharing my screen so that Miss Rochelle can share hers. And she's going to go ahead and start with the page creation section. And I'm going to throw myself back on mute. Thanks, guys.
All right, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now, babes. You're good.
Awesome. I unmuted my phone, but evidently Zoom wasn't giving me permission still. So here we are. Awesome. So talking about creating pages, this is an exciting one for those of you who are pulling content on pages. I'm really excited to share this part with you. We love sneak peeks. These are great, right? Let me see if I can get to the next slide. So we're familiar with how things look in the before. Oh, hang on. I was just letting know that you guys are seeing a different screen. Let me try. Please wait. Let me try this again. Are we seeing the right screen now? Okay, awesome. Sorry about that, guys. So looking at creating pages before, we're all pretty familiar with how things are working right now. We grab a page name, choose what type of page we want, throw in if we're using a template or if we want it blank, any tags, and we're good. We go on to the next thing. So moving into a blank page, once it's created, this is our current state. How things look in the new version will be a little bit different. So that's exciting. Right now, we're grabbing our islands from the island tray. So also very familiar. You're just grabbing those, pulling them on. Let's look at the new. We love this. So when you are going to create a new page, you can choose, rather than from a drop-down, your setup method, if you're going to do freeform or layouts, template, or URL page right there, being able to go ahead and put in your tags and your page name, and that will also give you a little bit of a description, so some of you who are newer admins, that will be helpful for you, kind of having a little bit of tip as to where you're going with that. Creating a page, here's a new example of like an empty page state, so you can kind of see as we're splitting stuff out here, you can see at the very top we've got favorite islands. So this is something that will pull basically off of the islands that you're using the most, so rather than having to dig through your portal text editor every time you want it. If it's one that you guys use really heavily in your portal, it'll pop up there. So that I am really looking forward to, because I don't like having to go dig in Portal Framework for my PTAs, so that'll be awesome. And then also along the top, looking at splitting out the rulers and guides. So having those as two separate pieces, so rather than right-clicking, you can just grab those right from there. Your other items are still there for you, but splitting those out. And then also a little bit of information, which will be great for some of our newer admins, being able to understand, you know, here's what you have available to you, your layouts, your rulers, your guides, what do all these things do, and where do you find them? So rather than just having the empty Onsemble logo, we've got a little bit more of coaching on the page, which is great. And then you guys want to see some live stuff. I've got to stop share so I can share a different screen. Again, hang on. Because I had it all ready to go. Okay, so now I believe we should be seeing a test environment. You guys see create your new page. Somebody throw a yes in there for me.
Oh, we're still seeing your PowerPoint.
Still seeing the PowerPoint. Okay, let me try doing this.
There you go.
You see it now? Okay, great. All right, awesome. I just wanted to make sure
so
that I had.
Rochelle, I'm going to kind of hop in right before you get started, just so everyone knows. These are, this is a sketch walkthrough, and this is something that is in a discovery phase. I'll show you the delivery phase later, but in the future, we may be asking for feedback from you guys. This will be maybe the format that you'll see. So this is just kind of a click stream.
And we are super excited to be able to have our hands on stuff in the design phase. Like, this is awesome while they're walking through discovery, being able to be part of that process and share feedback throughout it. So we're loving it. It's awesome. Okay, so let me kind of take you guys through this. We're gonna, for example, try layouts here. You can kind of see the different layout options that you have. If you have custom layouts, those will show up down at the bottom for you. Templates are going to look kind of similar here, where you can choose from your templates drop down, and then URL page. You'll be able to choose, you know, put the URLs for if you're trying to display like a website or something, you can get that in there, and then also have your options for if you're wanting, however you're wanting that to open. And then of course your free form, which we're all familiar with. And once you've chosen the format that you want, we'll go ahead and hit OK, and that'll take you to the piece I just gave you a sneak peek of. And dun, dun, dun. I think, that's it. That's it. I think I got through everything because I showed the other part in the PowerPoint. So yep. Now I stop share and let, I think, Anne, you were up next to share. Yes?
Yeah, can you just go ahead and go back to the next slide in the PowerPoint?
Yeah, sure.
I believe, yeah. Now you can stop share. And so now what I'm going to be doing is actually taking you all into our live engineering environment. So be forewarned, this is all work in progress. We literally get a new build every single night. So whatever they did yesterday is in here today. So if there are errors, that's okay, because we expect them to have errors as they're developing. So let me go ahead and start sharing here. And okay, so you guys should all be seeing my screen right now. That says
and if I can jump in here real quick, for those of you that are newer to Passageways or newer to our offered formats, Anne is actually in one of our development environments right now. Like, so what you're seeing is actual live activity inside one of the portals that they are actually building and developing in. And so this is really exciting for us because they released this to us to kind of go in and play with a little bit as well. So like that sidebar navigation that I was showing you in my section, the hoverovers that you're seeing on her buttons right now, like we've never been able to do this before. We've never been able to show it to you guys like this before. This is so exciting to me. Like, and just the amount of development and the amount of work that Passageways has put in into getting this information out to you guys quickly and into sourcing your feedback. Like, I'm like verklempt. Okay, shutting up, just saying thank you, Anne. Okay,
no, that is perfect, Sarah, because that is, this is the first time really from an engineering side that we've had the ability to share our work with our internal team as we go. So we're constantly getting feedback from them. And we not only do a new portal every day, but we also do a new showcase portal every 2 weeks that has work that is already complete. So they will be able to start sharing those new features with you guys as well, because we know those things are going to make it into product because it literally already is in product. So just a lot of great changes that we're doing on the engineering side. And this is actually what everything, all the designs that you've just seen really look like implemented. So, you know, again, we have basically the same functionality that we had before, but it just has a new look. We also have a way to do, to get to your menu using a left click rather than only a right click. We've got some core 3 features here that I wanted to really mention. Open a new tab, open a new window, copy link address. These are available on literally every node in the tree now. It used to be there were some places they weren't available, for example, a report. So there was really no easy way to get that link or open that in a new window. So we're just trying to hit some of these really simple things that we can do to add value to you all at the same time as just making it look better. So I'm going to go ahead and, just so you can see this live, I'm going to go ahead and create a new page. We've started implementing this, so we've taken that design that they've created, and this is actually how it's going to look right now. So I'm just going to do a sample. I can't type very well. I mean, you'll see I can go ahead and click through the different selections here. So exactly what you saw before is what we're going to choose here. We do have, these are the standard layouts, and the really cool thing about this new format is before, when you were creating a new page, if you didn't know what you were doing, you may not have even known that these layouts existed because you had to create the page and then find it in the toolbar. So now we really have outlined these options here, and you can see them much clearer. Templates, we're also working on improving our templates just across the board. So you'll see here I have a sample workgroup homepage. We're hoping to get some more of these templates built so you guys can have templates to use at your organization. So when you are creating pages, maybe you like the way one of our pages are set up, and we can create that as a template for you, and then a URL page. But just super easy to create a page, and then I just create that. Now you'll notice here that I don't have the pretty blank state, empty state, because we haven't implemented that. So that's why we use the combination of the design, sketch click-throughs, and that are in discovery and the delivery. So that was just a quick example of creating a page. And then I'm just going to do a quick create a copy here so you can see what these look like. Again, the functionality really is the same, but it's just much more intuitive now, and it looks a lot nicer. And then I'm going to create a copy of that page, and this is going to work for a bit. And remember, this is a live engineering environment, so may take a minute here because we haven't tweaked for performance yet. And then new cleaner messages that tell you that it's been created successfully, and then it's just going to show up right here. And then just to show you one more quick, this functionality or this implementation, we just finished this last night. And I don't even think the design team has had a chance to review this, so you're seeing this before the design team has. And again, just real simple, looks cleaner, messages are very straightforward. So that's kind of what the new, what things are looking like as of right now. We have still our collapse all. We're not super happy with how this is looking like in the navigation tree, so we're going to go back to discovery and redo a little bit of the work here. But that's all I wanted to share about that. So hopefully you guys are liking what you see, and then I will hop back over. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and stop share. Rochelle, if you want to go ahead and continue to share from over there, because I don't have the same PowerPoint pulled up that you do.
Sure, give me just 1 second here.
Or Sarah, either one.
Here we go, I think.
And then if you can go ahead and click to the next, I'll just tell you when to click, or you can kind of click. Okay, so Workgroup Essentials. This is one of my favorite features that we'll be introducing with Onsemble 7. If there are users on here or customers who have had old versions like 3.3 and 4.12 and know kind of what the old headquarters was, there was a lot of functionality on there, like seeing your recent announcements and posting an announcement to a work group that used to be in one location, but then we kind of stopped building that page out and we lost a lot of that functionality. So now we're going to bring the Workgroup Essentials back. You're going to have some one-click information. You get there, you just click on the work group and you automatically see your essentials, the ability to quick add members, and the ability to quick add assistant managers. So we'll just kind of start walking through this. If you can go ahead and get on the next screen. So this is what it looks like overall. It really is just an area to see all of the essentials about my work group. Can you go ahead and click, Rochelle? So up in the top right-hand corner, we're going to see the work group details. Many of you probably see this whenever you create a work group. You can put in the address and the primary phone for that location. Let's say you have a branch. But then in the portal, there was actually nowhere that you could easily see that information. So we're going to go ahead and pull that out, put it on the Workgroup Essentials. I can quickly see who the manager of the work group is, et cetera. So again, information that was there but kind of hidden is now brought to the forefront. And then if you can go to recent, click again. And then this is really awesome. This is just the recent announcement. And right now we're looking at showing the last 5 business days of announcements. And you can see we're going to group it by today, yesterday, and then it goes just by, I believe, just by the date. But just a quick glance at who it's from and the subject. And then upcoming events. And this is kind of this is an area that really is still in discovery. But we're looking at showing the next 5 business days events for the work group calendar. So you could show your events that are on that calendar. We're thinking about possibly including birthdays and anniversaries, so you can see everything for that work group in one place. Yeah, we'll come back to that question there. If you can go on, Rochelle, please. And then again, quick glance at your assistant managers and your members. So before, you always had to go to your navigation tree to find those. Again, it's one place. You'll go click on that and you'll be able to see that information. And I believe, yes. So now if you would stop sharing, I will go ahead and share. What I'm going to do is go back to Sketch and show you all kind of what this looks like from here. Can everyone see my Sketch screen now?
Looks good.
Okay, great. Thank you, Rochelle. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead back to talk about recent announcements. So this is really awesome. I'll be able to open an announcement from here and do a quick preview of the announcement. And again, this looks very similar to the announcements island, but just a better, cleaner format. The other thing we're adding here is the ability to actually add an announcement. So again, you'll see there's a new look and feel for adding an announcement. You know, enter the subject, the start, expiration date, the body, a drag and drop right here. So we're moving away from the old, you know, explore out to attach your files, but just drag it, drop it. If you like the old way, you'll be able to use the old way. And this kind of walks through this, just dragging and dropping here. You'll drop it. It'll have the name. You can delete it from here, drag another one in. It will show the progress of that. If something fails, you'll be able to retry. But really the cool thing is just to be able to go to the work group. Basically, I would just click on the work group name, and this page is going to show up for whatever work group you're on. So that was, I thought was super exciting. Assistant managers, you'll be able to add assistant
Ann, can I jump in on this real quick as well?
Absolutely.
Okay, sweet. Okay, so guys, I know that most, if not all of you that are on the call, manage at least one work group, meaning you are either managing the all staff work group for your organization, or you are managing one or more smaller internal work groups for your organization. So what you're kind of looking at here, and we've been kind of talking about like names, you know, Workgroup Essentials, Workgroup Dashboard, Workgroup whatever, but think of this section as a way for you to see under the hood of everything that's going on in well, maybe not everything, right, but like the most important pieces and parts of your work group that you are responsible for. So up here at the top, you want to send an announcement to your work group, boom, that's where it is. Upcoming events for your work group, boom, that's where it is. Down there at the bottom, recent pages modified, boom, that's where it is. Members, boom. Assistant managers, boom. So what this is giving you your fingertips, putting your pulse on what's going on inside this work group, not just for your all staff, but for your internal work groups as well. So from a control standpoint, right, being able to really be able to, as a content manager, oh, I don't know, manage your content. When Ann showed us this, I can't tell you the goosebumps and how excited that I got, because this was something it was one of those, I didn't even realize how bad I needed it until I saw it. And then I went, oh my gosh, this is going to change the way that I manage everything inside my work groups. And so again, feedback from you guys, you are our end users. You are why we do everything here. It would be great if Ann would make me happy 100% of the time, but I'm not her target audience, right? You guys are. So like the feedback from you guys is what we really, really need here. So that's kind of what you're looking at in this piece is these are the important pieces of your work group. This is an easier way for you to manage these sorts of things. Does that make sense to you guys? So just kind of putting that out there for you. Okay, shutting up.
Oh, that's perfect. And I love your enthusiasm. Like I said, I've been looking at these screens for through 2 to 3 months. So my excitement tends to fade. Then, you know, Sarah and the other CSMs come in and pick me right back up. So I appreciate that. The other thing to mention too here is you'll notice that there will now be a way to email all of your assistant managers or all of your members, alert all of your assistant managers or all of your members. And then in the future, we may come back and add EIM and high fives, which are actually employee recognitions just internally. We call them high fives. So kind of really cool stuff. But adding members, you'll be able to add your users just like we did before. This is actually the assistant managers page, but I wanted to show you here what this manage permissions. I know probably a lot of you see this. I wish this would have been a good one to have the old and the new, but again, functionality stays the same, but just a much cleaner look. Descriptions, island names are going to be on here so we can really see what this looks like here. And then I'll be able to remove managers quickly and easily as well. And then this is just really, I can add users and roles here. This is our new user select tool, and I won't be able to show you how this functions, and I don't think we have it implemented in our engineering portal yet. But you'll be able to, you know, deselect a role. So if I just want to see what users, just to make my search quicker, and this tool will be used throughout the portal where we're managing our users. I just wanted to kind of show you that. And then again, walking through members, you'll be able to alert your members or email your members. This was functionality we had way, way, way back. But again, it got lost when we got rid of the old headquarters, and we're bringing that back to the forefront. And then manage users is going to look virtually the same. Be able to view a profile from here, remove, and then just, again, manage members by adding users or roles. So that's kind of an overview of Workgroup Essentials. There's a lot we can do here. We probably will deliver this in pieces so we can get some of the functionality out to you sooner than later. But again, this is one of my favorites. I can certainly see taking this and turning it into maybe a personal essentials, so to speak. So if you have any thoughts about that, I'd love to hear that as well. And I'm going to stop share, and I'll let Rochelle share again. Okay, so now we're going to hop right into portal documents. Hopefully y'all are using our portal documents. I will have to say this is probably one of the areas that just changing the look and feel is going to be a very big improvement. This is in the very early discovery stages. I just got to meet with our designers right before this meeting, and some of these look completely different already. But this is what the documents look like before. Again, the old grid format with the white and gray alternating lines. And Sarah says, drum roll, please. Let's go to the next slide. And this is our first take at what it's going to look like. Like I said, I just saw a brand new version of this, and it looks even better. But you'll see here, if you can click again. Oh, thank you, Ellen. You know, at the top, we're going to clean up the navigation and have breadcrumbs so you can really move back and forth quicker. This is a much more standard way to do things. And again, icons or the ability to upload, add a new and refresh. We're actually changing that up a little bit as well, but it just looks so much better. Rochelle, if you can go ahead and click again. And then at the bottom here, we have, this is kind of our new pagination format that we're going to have. And this grid style is really going to, it starts with portal documents, but we're really going to use this throughout the entire portal. So anytime we have a list of items, it's going to look very similar to this, where you can move between your pages on your left here, and then choose the number of items to show on the page on your right. So we're just really trying to standardize things. I think the awesome thing will be the new drag. Yes, you have choices, Sarah. Yep. We'll have the ability to drag and drop here. Rochelle, if you could click again to go to the next page. This is just showing what it's going to look like when you drag, and then it's going to change to the drop format, and then it'll go back, and that document will be right in there. Sarah's throwing confetti. Again, it's just much more intuitive. There's a lot more to show in portal documents, but I was afraid we probably wouldn't have time with all the questions. So, and this was, after all, just a sneak peek to get you excited. So with that, I think I'll turn it back over to, I believe, Cameron, who is going to help coordinate some questions and answers.
Awesome. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for your participation in the chat and the Q&A. We do have quite a few here, so if we don't make it through all of these by 4 o'clock, we will be sure to follow up with you individually on these questions and make sure we get the answers. So the very first question we have is from Tom, and he's asking about a color picker and what are the options on a color picker. And I believe this is when you are creating a page for the first time.
Yeah, I think that was it. I think that was one of the questions early on. So yeah, the color picker will be consistent throughout. One caveat, we have to make these changes as we go. So one page may have the new color picker and the old page may have the old, just putting that out there. We haven't yet, because these are still in discovery, we don't exactly know what that's going to look like, but we hope that it looks much better than it did. If you have specific requirements or things that you need, certainly post those here and we'll get those in our discovery track so we can consider that as we move forward.
All right, second question we have is from Phil Schroeder. He is asking, what about the pop-up alerts? This is in reference to pop-up alerts, taking control over the screen.
Right now, the functionality of the pop-up alerts will remain the same. Again, we haven't got to implementation of that, so we may be able to make some minor tweaks. For example, if everything is marked as red, maybe that won't pop up. At least initially, what we plan to do is come back and look at the pop-up alerts and maybe building those into a panel in the portal or an island in the portal so that that functionality really doesn't have to be popped up, maybe like a notifications icon that has a count or an indicator that you have a notification. But our initial goal really is just to really improve the look and feel of that so we can get that done quickly and get that out to you guys.
All right, third question we have here. Will they automatically be a white background now, excuse me, and this is in reference to the pop-up alerts.
Yes, right now the pop-up alerts will be all themed the same way. I do believe that if you want that modified in any way, you would be able to do that through changing your style sheet. However, we just recommend that you leave it white as is.
Awesome. And the next question is from Crystal, and she asks, will we be able to adjust the size of the reading box? And this is in reference to pop-up alerts.
I'm not sure.
Very good. And the next question is from D. Haley, and it says, no change to the subject/link. And I believe this is in reference to the pop-up alerts for announcements and notifications.
I don't understand that specific question. Does she want to hop on and unmute her and clarify that?
Absolutely, and I believe, Sarah, you are going to have to be the one, I think, to unmute on that.
Oh, gosh, golly gee.
Putting you on the spot.
Any idea how long this list is? Give me a sec. Yeah, I will find. Yes, please continue.
Okay.
Absolutely. And I think she just popped in, or he or she just popped in. Could the subject be more specific to the island that changed? Is what she's saying, the no change to subject or link.
Oh, okay. There are a lot of different announcement types, so we will be reviewing a lot of those. So yes, possibly that could change. Best thing for you guys to do if you want to see some of those change is go ahead and submit tickets so we get those in the backlog so we can get those incorporated. But yes, we are going through and looking at the portal messages to make sure that they are, if we can improve any type of information in that way, we will.
Perfect. All right. And then from John, we have a question. Will there be integration with Outlook calendars? And I believe this was in reference to when we were looking at the workgroup summary page. Yeah, workgroup summary page. So will there be integration with Outlook calendars?
We don't have any plans right now to do any more with calendars than what we already have integrated with Outlook, at least at this time. But I'm sure that as we move forward, we will continue to do more and more integration. So again, any ideas you have on that, the community would be a great place to share that.
Perfect. And it looks like we have, Sarah has tracked down D. Haley's number. So if you would like to go ahead and ask your question to Ann.
All right, Deb, I got you unmuted. You have the power.
Yes, you answered it. The link
Okay.
to the islands, maybe in the
Okay.
future.
All right, great.
Thanks.
Thanks, Deb.
All right. The next question we have is from Crystal, and it says, and this is in context to the Workgroup Essentials. It says, will there be a section for documents managed by this group? The most important workgroup items to us are calendars and document management.
Great question. We actually, I believe we had a section for documents at one point in time during discovery. We took that out initially just because we needed to get some more information about which documents we would want to show there. So if you guys have any thoughts about what you would want to see, which documents you would want to see, that would be great. We do have a section that shows workgroup usage, but we don't have anything that's showing document usage or have a way to mark like which documents you would want to show there. So I would love to, or if you're interested in doing a quick discovery phone call with us, let your CSM know. Maybe we can pull together a few users and see if we can figure out what would be appropriate to show there. But yes, absolutely, workgroup documents would be great to include. We just weren't sure what would be important and how we would flag those. Yep.
Perfect. Thank you, Ann. The next question is from Orlinda, and she says, and this is in relation to Workgroup Essentials as well, is Manage All able to set up permissions for all instead of individually?
You're sorry, assistant manager permissions. So we are still right now working through this, but yes, what we are planning is hopefully a way to do two things. One, to allow you to add a single assistant manager and quickly assign all of those permissions as you're using them, or assigning whatever permissions that you want specific to that user. Right now, it's a kind of a two-step process. You have to add them, and then you have to go back and edit their permissions. So we are looking at that. It's in discovery right now. So we don't have those screens mocked up. But the other thing that we are hoping to do as well is if you add more than one manager at the same time, it will give you an option to either add all permissions or add no permissions. So yes, we are hoping to try to hit both of those pain points.
Perfect. All right, next question we have is, will the look of the documents listed on workgroup pages change as well?
So I'm thinking that you're probably referencing the list island, which is what most people use for their documents. That will not be changing immediately probably in the first release. However, that is one of the highest items as we go back and look at islands to really change. That list island is a pretty complicated island because you can put a lot of different things on them, but we certainly will be going back to that. That feature just has not made it to discovery yet, so I don't have any information to share with you.
All right, and then the next one we had, this was a very good question. I think multiple people on the phone will agree as well. It says, we are on 6.1. Is it worth upgrading to 6.3 or just waiting until version 7?
Great question. So I'm going to give you my opinion. I think there were a lot of things that were in 6.2 that you could take advantage of now. I also think the sooner that you get to an update grade, the latest version, the better. 6.3 was actually, we released that as kind of a prep release specifically for 7.0. So yes, I would say 100% it's in your best interest to get up on the latest version. The other benefit that you're going to have to that is if you're already on the latest version, we are going to now have the ability to offer a limited release to customers for when 7.0 comes out. So before it's released to everybody, we're now going to have a way to do that. And the only people that we will consider doing that for are those people that are on 6.3. So if you even want to be able to do that, then that would be a necessary first step. But yeah, I'm absolutely in favor of getting to the latest version as soon as possible, and always try to keep up with the updates. I think that's always in your best interest. So.
Awesome. And a couple questions here from Ellen. It says, anything in the works to fix how the documents automatically lay out in the list island? For example, when we link a folder to a list island now, the newest document goes to the bottom instead of listing alphabetically. Also, any thought on adding accordion folders to list islands?
Sure, that's going to kind of go back to when I spoke earlier about the list island. That island is really needs a lot of discovery. We certainly know that. So we will be starting discovery on that probably here in the next couple of weeks. So a lot of those requests I know have already been submitted, but if you haven't submitted one on your own behalf, definitely get those submitted, and yeah, we'll keep you posted on that one. But right now, nothing to share.
Perfect. All right. And from Andrew, we have a question. How will 7.0 behave with custom landing page / other customizations within Onsemble?
That's a great question. So one of the things that we did, especially if you have anything custom, 6.3 was really the update that kind of got us at the same state for everything. So it was more of a compatibility update. So once you're up to 3.3, everything's going to work all together, including all of your consulting projects. As we move to 7.0, it's really going to be dependent on the project in and of itself. All of your custom landing pages should work exactly as they do now. There will not be any change. So because they are custom projects. And outside of that, they're really one-off. They should all be compatible though and work just like they did before. They're just probably not going to look any different. If you have projects and you have specific questions, definitely get with your CSM and we can talk about those ahead of time.
Awesome. And the next question that came up, and that actually came up a couple times, I think, from Janice and Crystal, is will there be drag and drop functionality to move documents between folders? So from one folder to the next, are you going to be able to drag and drop that? Just like we have the option to move now when you right click, will that be a drag and drop functionality?
We hope so. That's early in discovery, so we'll have to wait and see.
Awesome, thank you, Ann. And our final question that we have now is from Tom, and he says, do you have an expected release time for version 7 and then Q4?
Okay, so I will tell you what we know right now. This is something that we're going to try a little bit differently this year. So hopefully we'll hit our targets. But what we're hoping to do is release 7.0 in phases. So we're not doing a really long once-a-year release. So we're hoping to get them more quarterly. So we hope to have a Q2 release that will be coming out. That actually would come out in Q3 because we would finish developing it in Q2, and then having another one come out in Q4, and then another one Q1 of 2019. So that way we can get features to you guys more regularly, get feedback, get that built into the next, and you won't have to wait such a long time to see anything new. So don't have any dates locked in right now, other than we hope to have something available at least at a limited release, which would be kind of that beta at the end of Q2, early Q3.
Awesome, and we do have a couple more minutes here. I missed one question in the chat. It was in 7.2, will there be any changes to the photo album tool?
We do not currently have any plans for the photo album tool. However, we know that's pretty important to your intranet, so we will be looking at figuring out where that's going to fit into the roadmap. But right now, that has not been decided.
And we got one more that just came in from Tom. Is would we have the ability to save favorite colors? I currently keep a list of hex codes.
Mm-hmm. Right now, we do not have that functionality. My question would be, would those be favorite colors for just the organization as a whole, or per island? May need to come back with you and get some specifics around that.
And he said specifically from the color picker.
Okay. Yep. We'll keep that in mind as we look at the color picker. Not sure there.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Ann. We appreciate you sharing with all our Passageways family members what all the good stuff that is on the horizon. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. One note before we get off here: if you have any other questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to your CSM. We would also really like to get your feedback as well on your thoughts on what is being worked on currently right now, and any ideas that you have at any time that you think would be helpful to the solution and improve Onsemble as we're moving forward. So again, thank you all for joining us for a sneak peek of version 7, and have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, guys. Have a great afternoon.